Contributor Sarah Carter, Fox News legal analyst, author of the best-selling book, The Russia Hoax, and American Center for Law and Justice, Executive Director Jordan Sekulow. Because she's smiling the most, we'll start with Sarah tonight. All right, seriously, if you don't play guitar, piano, and sing, who gets that kind of 40-plus hours outline and 150,000 requests? That's pretty insane.
It's incredible. It's President Trump, Sean, and this is what the Democrats don't want the rest of the American public to actually understand. Here we have a president who's willing to listen to the American people, go out there, he speaks to them directly. And I hear this over and over again, no matter where I go. I'm in North Carolina. I've heard people talking about the rally tomorrow night here in North Carolina on my way up here, saying how excited they were. People feel energized by President Trump. And I think what we're seeing on the part of the Democrats is really unfortunate because they're pushing this idea of impeachment, and I do not believe the American public is going to buy this one bit. It's going to backfire against them.
All right, let me go to the issues that we brought legally, and by the way, Jordan, good to see you. We've been friends a long time. Why don't we go to you first on the legal side of it, what the CIA is afraid of. If, in fact, we give them these tools. I am proud, by the way, that we have the premier law enforcement agency in the world. They're called the FBI. And we have the premier intelligence agency in the world, the envy of the world. That's the CIA and other groups. But we also have a constitution, civil liberties. If we weaponize these tools, can you not spy on anybody every second of every day? The answer is yes.
It's the worst fears that we have about these agencies, right, Sean? I mean, that's part of this, the whole Russian scandal and the fact that an American political campaign was spied on, a presidential campaign, and the major presidential campaign was spied on by the U.S. government systems that we create. That's our greatest fear, and that's when you've got to put the real checks in. And I'm sure that article is correct, that the CIA agents, the bureaucrats in Washington, D.C., are no fans of the U.S. Attorney Durham or Attorney General Barr and the investigation because they are not used to anyone in Washington, D.C. Looking into what they are doing, how they are using the tools that we pay for and create. And I'm glad about these tools. But then you see that leak, Sean. I mean, the leak to the New York Times about this technology that we've done into Russia's power grid. That whole issue, that is also a huge part of a national security risk right there, the leak of that story.
Really well said. And Greg, now that we know that, well, first of all, Durham's going to Great Britain and is going to interview Steele. We already know what Steele has to say because he said it in an interrogatory under oath, which when he said, I don't know if any of this is true. That's a big deal. But more importantly, when the CIA now, and Gina Haspel says, and she's been a hero after 9/11. That we know for a fact. Mm-hmm. When Gina Haspel says there's full cooperation within her agency, and there is now a demand to save order and recover order. And the CIA officials that are involved in this will start talking. Well, that means what?
It means that the people who engaged in rampant acts of lawlessness and abused the tools of power to launch an investigation without evidence, to lie and spy on a campaign, those people are in trouble. And that is John Brennan and James Comey and Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, and James Clapper, just to name a few. And I hope you're right that the CIA will, in fact, turn over the documents that are demanded. But, you know, at the FBI, Christopher Wray is James Comey in a different suit. And I'm deeply worried that he will continue to obstruct. But the tide has turned, the tables have turned. And now, you've got William Barr and John Durham. And there's a reason why Barr used the word spying. He's been debriefed by the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz. He's well aware of the evidence accumulated so far. But the interview of Christopher Steele will be pivotal. Because if he says, as we expect him to say, that I warned the FBI and the Department of Justice that this document I had composed is unverified, then that means, having used it anyway, they engaged in a criminal conspiracy to defraud.
Exit question, and I'll give you 15 seconds each. Sarah first. If they're now all going to be interviewed, And we know Durham, we know Horowitz is holding back, I expect because of Steele. I'm hearing not till after the 4th of July. Where's it headed? This means it's deeper, bigger than anyone thought.
It is much deeper. It is much bigger than what anyone thought, Sean. And I think the idea that the intelligence community was weaponized, basically weaponized to go against a political opponent, is something we should all be so concerned with. It's a civil liberties issue, and it's something that Durham's definitely going to take seriously, and so is Barr.
Jordan.
All you have to look at, Sean, and for all the viewers out there, is the fact that all of these people's attorneys from their government, all their former general counsels like Jim Baker at the FBI are starting to speak out to people like Rachel Maddow. There's a huge issue for them.
Well said. Last word, Greg.
You know, this scheme to undo an election, to damage a president and frame him, was so rapacious and pervasive, it will take many months to unravel.
Wow. Okay, it's getting bigger, deeper than we thought. We will get to the bottom of it. We made that promise. We're not